welcome back once again, everyone, to the opening day of Stage 1 here in the Riot Games Arena. There is a new rivalry in town, and I'm not sure if you guys are aware of it, but it's called KOI versus Team Liquid. And I'm saying this because Kaquka and BONECOLD, it's because they've played against each other so many times already this year, and they got to play each other again, Kaquka, today.
It's kind of crazy, right? Because I feel like also the expectations of both of these teams were different, right? We love the effect of the payback, especially adapting to a new opponent in such a short period of time because of how kickoff was. But this one, I think that is way more balanced, way more
even.
Yeah, way more even. Yeah, way more even this time around.
Oh yeah, for sure. Is this like the third or fourth time they're gonna be playing against each other?
It's 1-1 right now, so this is the third time.
Oh,
so
the
maybe,
third time's the charm. Yeah.
Charm for who?
For this match, I'm just hoping for Liquid to kind of show me the way that Liquid plays, because I feel like the last split they were kind of flat, to be honest. Like it wasn't really that impressive. I just really want to see Nats popping off on the lurks, being just Yumpy's playground. I really just want to see them pop off, to be honest.
I think I want the other way around. I think that we have met a Liquid before, right? But with this Apex core also joining in, I want to see a new identity. But I agree. I want to identify where their strengths rely and how they can, again, make this team worthy of winning, of moving forward, right? Not just, I don't want to see just, Nats going on the larks and everything working, on Yumpy giving us a 1v3 and this kind of things that Yumpy does. I want to see an identity coming in from Liquid.
I mean, this is the thing, KOI eliminated Liquid. I don't think anybody had that on their predictions, bingo, however you want to call it. And in terms of Liquid's identity, what is it? What is actually their identity?
Yeah, it's just complicated because you don't want to be Apex number 2, right? You don't want Enzo to take, control of everything. They need to find a way to merge together, but also they need to be innovative enough so we are aware that they're also advancing and moving with the game. They're not just a 2022 Liquid.
Yeah, that's very well said. Like, we don't want to, see, just the old Liquid. We want to see something new from them.
Yeah, something new. Maybe we'll see it today. And in terms of new, though, they do have a new IGL, of course, Enzo coming into this. And it feels almost like weird because Shadow was his ex-teammate, Magnum was his ex-teammate. They both went on to IGL in VCT after being his ex-teammate. Yeah. Magnum is looking great out there. He qualified for Madrid, looked great today as well. Shadow also, again, looks pretty like a nice addition to KOI. So what is going on with Enzo here? What do you guys think Enzo is bringing to this Liquid?
I think it's complicated because kickoff was like a one-time thing. I need to see them more comfortable. That is, for me, like my ask from Liquid in this time around, because on the other side, I see a Shadow that was ready in this year, even if he were to stay on Apex, to take this IGL role and make it his own. And to me, his performance, he is making KOI in some instances look very good. Besides, going the individual performance, sometimes you see KOI rounds and you're like, that is a very good idea.
Yeah, I mean, BONECOLD as an IGL yourself, what do you make of these two?
I mean, at least for Enzo, like, I can see him having like very good fundamentals that he brings to the team. I want to see, like the fundamentals and the basics for the team to be honed up, like to a very well degree. And then, like start seeing, like all the rest of the individuals start playing off of that.
What about Shadow?
From Shadow, I'm actually like, I'm not so sure because I haven't really been watching him play. But from Shadow and like from the rest of the squad, I know they have like very young Polish players. So I am just very interested to see, like how can Shadow, like perform and how he has been able to hand the responsibility to the rest of the players in that team.
Exactly, because it's not the same, right? Joining Liquid, do you think you'll be able to teach anything to Nats and Yumpy?
Yes.
But what I mean is, like, what are you going to do with them? Are you going to be like, oh, you're going to swap around the way that you play, the way that you understand the game? No, that there is some knowledge you have to, it's more of adapting as a group effort on the side of Shadow. I do agree. It's more of like, yeah, last year was a bit of a fluke. What can we do to make this year better? To think more long-term, and it's him picking up the IGO role for the first time, having to teach people. and having to make the project work, of course, it also lays down into like the stuff and how they make everything work. But on the ground basis, this should be easier for Liquid, just looking at it as a global thing, than for KOI. And sitting here today, I tell you, I don't think that's the way it's going.
Yeah, I do wonder though, maybe being Enzo's ex-teammate has a certain degree of an advantage. You know
Totally.
how he calls, you know how he reacts to things, so maybe that's why Shadow has managed to come out on top at least one time out of the 2 times they played against each other so far. But let's talk about the 2 former Gambit teammates. Any opportunity to bring up Gambit, I'm gonna do it. But of course, Shados versus Nats. You know, Nats BONECOLD being this OG lurking Sentinel player, and then Shados kind of growing into that role. What do you make of this head-to-head?
It's gonna be nice. I really want to see, you know, like Nats, you know, like being back, because there's so many moments that I remember Nats just dropping like a 21-3 on me or something similar. But I just really want to see, you know, like them just clashing heads in server.
I mean, on the other side, I do agree. BONECOLD, I want to see Nats being comfortable. I think that is something that we did not see this year. Sometimes he was out of in the wrong timings with the lurks, and all these things that are a bit uncharacteristic for him, right? We need to see that clicking in, and if that doesn't work, he needs to evolve. The same way that, for example, when we're seeing CNET playing right now, right? And he's playing all these different agents, and we want CNET, either you play the Jet or this has to, like, and not everything has to go crazy. For Nats, I think that the evolution has to be, and the requirement for an evolution has to be there as well. Yes, you lurk, but everybody knows that.
But the thing is, to counter this, but when he does do it right, and when the team's given the space, given the support, it is so hard to win against that.
They just need to find the consistency for it.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and where does that lie, you think? Who does that lie
Comfort,
to?
reps, fundamentals, and being very aware of the rest of your teammates, right? And I think that just takes time.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like a lot of the times when like a player is feeling good about himself and playing good, it really reflects from your teammates, because your teammates are the ones, you know, like allowing, you know, like to play like this, and they react off of you. So
yeah, I want to cope a little bit about this, because even if that game plan doesn't work, even if they're struggling maybe for some form of identity they're looking for, they go Kiko. Kiko is looking really, really good.
I love that you mentioned that. I think that Kiko is going to be another one of the star duelists. It feels like we've been talking about KC and Heretics for a very, very long time, right? But actually, one of the reasons why they were able to win that first encounter against KOI was Kiko dropping how much? 39? Kills?
Yeah.
On that first icebox. So there's not a lot that you can do against that, right? I think that he is one of the parts that can be, you can look away a little bit, because he will give you that kind of consistency. He doesn't look like he's a bit uncomfortable. But again, Nats, for example, arriving late on the lurks, it just speaks out to a global and bigger macro issue.
What about on the side of KOI? Because in comparison to expectations, KOI, they look better than they did last year. They're improving.
I love the fact to for example, see Starkso. I think that he's very comfortable. I think that we see him play on the Fade. I think that they've explored the game in a different way as most of the teams. We see the Fade, we've seen Sun Harbor. I think that they brought their idea of what they want the game to be for them and what works for them. But again, I want to see it in the long term. Either way, having Starkso feeling comfortable and you being able to tell on the server, you should
I am so glad you mentioned Starkso. You know him, BONECOLD? You met him?
I mean, like, I saw some tweets and I was talking to Starkso earlier this year, and he seems super, super motivated this year. So I really want to see him, you know, like just bright like a star like he did, you know, like back with our team. I really want to see him, you know, like just laugh, have fun. Hopefully, you know, like give us like, you know, like some moves, you know,
some
like
moves?
Yeah.
I mean, we spoke to him a little bit about that, and I was like, "You going to get the moves out?" And he didn't seem as keen. So why do you think that is?
Oh, there's a funny backstory where, you know, like he got kind of told off because he was dancing. Yeah.
Wait, by whom? Who told him off?
Oh, it was one of the owners in a sense. He was because it was
do you
against
remember the
100 Thieves.
Context on how the whole dancing started?
Yeah, let the man dance.
No, it was because we played against 100 Thieves. He was dancing, you know, like when we were winning, and then we lost. And then, you know, like the owners were.
They were concerned that it would like get into his head and he would be like focused, and also like you know, to keep the right tension on your body, you have to be seated, you know, and not.
His coach is Barber. Barber is like smashing desks, smashing tables, probably smashed a monitor as well.
So maybe we need to tell Barber that he's the one who has to tell you go dance.
Let him dance. I feel like that's what we're missing right now on stage there. Like you said, you know, Starkso was a player that we knew that always kind of kept the energy up, and we saw what happened with Sentinels when Zelsus was keeping the energy up in that best of 5. So, BONECOLD, do you think maybe that is something that could push them to the next level if they do have that kind of personality to lift them up a little bit?
This is something that I was even, thinking about in Madrid when I was watching Sentinels play. You see Celsius being like so happy. Like, I didn't think that much of like Celsius, but when you see him, like every single round, he's just yelling, screaming at his teammates, yelling at the other team, just being so positive. It was just like, if I were to come back, I want Celsius in my team.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Oh, wow.
I think anyone would want Celsius in their team. Like having him on your side, as you're saying, it's so important to have someone that is always going to have your back on the mental side, especially with how long that final is. I think that Celsius would always be a good addition.
He's not EMEA though, so we don't care.
Now,
we don't care. We don't care about what he's
For
doing.
now we want Stark. So for now we want Stark.
Yeah, it's the OG Celsius. He was doing it at Champs. He was winning Champs. Literally, he invented it. But let's have a little check-in here while we are seeing Game 1 already. I want to do a throwback a little bit to BONECOLD or BONEHOT because obviously Giants played, KC played. We got Liquid and KOI coming up as well. Where are we placing these teams? Let's start with the first match. So now we've seen Giant X and we've seen KC. Are they BONECOLD or BONEHOT?
For KC, I mean, they're still they're just looking, they're just looking very solid. I don't know if there's, that much to add in there. They're just good.
For Giants, I would still put them in the same position because I think that today's result was a bit expected. To me, what happened on Breeze, I didn't really like it. I think it was a bold pick. It didn't work. Maybe too bold in that sense. Who else? I think that Liquid and KOI are both on the same position for me in the lukewarm.
Yeah, the lukewarm. I mean, you put Giant X quite high up there, BONECOLD. I feel like that's less of a BONECOLD. That's like a bone kind of getting warm.
Kind of getting warm. To be fairly honest, I just forgot where you put it, so...
It's okay, it's just a little bit lower, but yeah.
Oh, you're
fine.
so real for that. You're so real for that.
But for Liquid and then both KOI in the middle, in the medium section.
I would put Liquid a little bit more on the cooler side. Is that, on the cooler side, just because I did expect a lot from them during kickoff, and I didn't see it. So coming in, I want to give them the chance of coming in hotter and actually be the surprise.
Redeeming themselves.
Someone has to be the surprise. We had such a big surprise with KZ and Heretics at the beginning of the year. Who's going to be next?
What do you think, BONECOLD?
It's hard to say. I was just figuring out the tablet, and we don't have KOI here. I don't know where to put them in that case.
Do we not have it?
Oh, KOI doesn't exist on this list. Oh
no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Okay, well,
but we'll
get it for next time. So
confetti.
you can.
We have confetti, yeah?
Are we confettiing
And
for KOI?
and I think we have some fire. Oops, sorry.
Oh no, you said Giant X on fire! What have you done, Kaquka? What have you done?
It's okay, they're gone.
Are you agreeing with Kaquka though that Liquid seems to be a little bit lower than KOI in terms of the expectation here?
I'd say so. I feel like Liquid still has a little bit more room to improve, but I feel like the expectations right now, I'd say they're a bit lower.
Hear me out. Team Liquid, right, is the team that won EMEA last year. We only had one split, and they were the winners. They were on top of that Fnatic that terrorized the rest of the world last year, right? We know that 3 out of 5 players are different this year, but it's not like they're new players, they're not the rookies. This should be a comfort pick in your pickups, and it's not. For now, as of today, it is not. That is what we want to see, the Liquid that changes that perspective.
Honestly, even that sounds like crazy to me that we're talking about Team Liquid having lower expectations than KOI, who I think they won 1 game last year, 2 games. I can't remember how many it was. But what could they possibly do, BONECOLD, to change your mind? What is it that you are going to see from Liquid today that's going to make you feel like, oh damn, they're taking it seriously?
I mean, I've always been I've always had this idea when I see a team play, I want to see them playing very fluid. And when you have these simple ideas that you have honed to the perfection, that's what it allows you, then to do, anything basically you want. It's very easy, go from very simple and then, hey, let's go and do this, and then go back, to a simple place.
So depth.
Depth, but I just want to see the fundamentals being there, and then I want to see, them playing off of each other.
What about you, Kaquka?
I think I'm more on the same, but I go back to the identity to me. I want to see if I'm gonna do it again. If we think of Gambit,
there's not a day that goes by in my life that I don't think about Gambit.
Yeah.
So yes.
So I agree with that. You're so real for that.
Yeah.
But you can see exactly how they play. You can see how the protocols are like so set, that how everything's like based on the defense and how the rotations are and how they read as well. It's very similar to what we're seeing now in KC. You have these youngsters, right? And you teach them the most fundamentals in depth. They can hit the shots. They will always hit the shots. They just showed it against Giant X. But for Team Liquid, as of today, you will hear the names, you will see them on the screen, and then you will look at the game and you'll be like, what in the hell is going on here? You don't know what they're playing to, you know?
Also, they've taken away your BONECOLD. They've taken it off of you.
Kind of rude. Oh, okay.
I'm looking at Twitch chat as well in just a moment on who you guys are voting for here, whether you think KOI are going to take this game or Liquid are going to take this game. And as what I'm looking at right now, it is overwhelmingly Team Liquid. Is this your doing, Sliggy? Are you rigging the votes?
Slugs. We have some slugs.
The Slug Club are in full force here. I think for me, honestly, I just want to see result. I think once the result comes in, you 2-0 KOI or 2-1 KOI, you get a bit of confidence and you can just snowball from there, because these are some of these names on Liquid, they're veterans. They're not kind of the rookies we've never seen before. They've been to global events. They probably had even tougher challenge than this before. So
That's a winner.
Yeah, I just want to see them it doesn't matter how they win, to just get a win under their belt and see BONECOLD how they can use that to propel themselves forward.
Yeah, they have proven players on both teams. I'm just hoping, you know, like both of them have gotten, you know, like their things set and ready for this split.
I think that for me, I don't want, it's not that much about who wins. I want to see some dominance and I want to see some growth from what we saw in kickoff. As I said, the best teams in the world came here to EMEA, and they've been given the chance to crack against them, to develop new things, also to watch Madrid and see how things play out, not only regionally but also internationally.
Yeah, well, it is enough from us here. This is the third time we're going to see Team Liquid take KOI, so let's bring out the teams. They missed out on Masters Madrid, but they have had time to fix everything that went wrong. They have had time to come out and give us a better showing. KOI have already improved from what we've seen last year. The new players are settling in well, but the question is, how high is that ceiling? Can they repeat what happened and take down Team Liquid once again? And of course, on the other side, this is a roster you guys know well and you love, players that we've seen time and time again succeed on this stage. Again, not the result they would have wanted back at kickoff, but this is about redemption. This is about them coming out and seeing if they can return to that former form of glory. We're going to have the coaches on stage as well, Emil and Barbara. Of course, guys, two of the most experienced coaches we have ever had in this region as well, both under a lot of pressure.
And we see a lot of smiles, we see them having fun, definitely looking forward to show what they have prepped for this stage. Remember, this is only the beginning. There is no elimination here. You have to play a lot of matches. It's good to see that everybody's coming in, as I said, with a smile, with good vibes. We have Steel in the blood, so he knows how important the vibes are.
Yeah, we got Starkso on stage as well. BONECOLD, it's been a while.
I was actually just smiling seeing Patricia, they're happy, so I can't wait for this game to start.
Well, let's see which maps we're going to be going to. The last two times they played against each other, Icebox Sunset split, Icebox Bind split. We're going to get split again. Are we going to get Icebox again? As well, it seems like both of them are pretty comfortable leaning towards those two picks.
Wow, Team Liquid is actually going to be picking Ascent as a map. Ascent is a map, dude.
Yeah, but this is old Liquid. They used to love this map.
Yeah, exactly. But then what kind of Liquid is the one that we're going to get? Are we going to see that new identity? Is it going to be a repetition of what we've seen in the past? And they've managed to put these three players to fill in just those slots. Looking into the first one, looking into that split, even though KOI got those wins, everything was very close. There was a lot of clutches. It was just a messy map.
Yeah, it's going to be nice now seeing, you know, like, especially like Split and Ascent. I really like these maps because I feel like they're going to be showing us, you know, like it's very good for the fundamentals of the team. So it's going to be interesting to see how the teams actually, you know, like start.
I mean, you heard it from Magnum. They felt like they had to change things because they already shown everything. They had to evolve to the next level, and that's coming from the best team in EMEA. So as we take a look at this agent select, I wonder if these two teams have adopted that thinking or not.
Yeah, exactly. And moving, as you said, onto that agent select, Team Liquid. I don't see any changes. No changes. I want to bring back the Starks are playing on the Fade. I think it gives you a different edge, especially when you're playing against a double controller. I really, really like it. Going back into the IGL top, Enzo with that Sky, we know how the nerf has affected the agent. He needs to be very mindful of how he's going to be gathering that information.
Yeah, I feel like on Liquid side, you know, like the Sky will come in very, very clutch, you know, like on these situations, because you don't really have nothing more than the Cypher and the Viper taking space, but other than that, you have to rely on the Sky. So Enzo will be in very big position here, you know, like to see how the split will start.
Yeah, of course, the third time they're going to face each other on this map as well. They're going to show some depth, I feel like.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And we need to see some comfort. We see that the compositions are not very crazy. I don't think that Split is a map that opens that wide of possibilities. But especially like having the Fade and the Breach on the side of KOI, it gives them so much edge for the attacking side, which they're going to be starting on. Adding that to Gorbinho on the Omen, the executes can be so explosive that it's going to rely a lot onto Nats and Yampi.
Oh, I can't wait to see it, and I can't wait to introduce you guys to your casters for this match, freshly from Madrid and also from NA. It is Pansy and Steel.
Thank you so much, Sue and the desk. Yeah, I do have the distinct pleasure of being joined by Steel. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Yeah? You happy to be here?
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, I mean, we had to bring you back. You know, NA, too much talent, so we had to steal you over. So, let's kind of talk about what's in front of us, right? We have a bit of a mid-table matchup, if I'm being kind, I guess, considering those last results. They weren't pretty for either side. But let's start at the top. Map Veto, anything standing out to you there? Because we've seen this matchup obviously in kickoff, so where does that now land us here?
Yeah, when we saw them at kickoff, we saw them a couple times, and what I saw from Liquid a lot was them trying to really just dig into their individual skill.
Okay.
And we saw that on Icebox a lot. We saw a lot of lurking happening. So when I see them picking Ascent, I'm thinking, okay, they're picking this not because they want to do these 5-man hits, but maybe they've been working on that in the last month.
Hopefully.
But it's a map where they can really control the middle area, especially on the attack side, and try to get all these lurk timings off with Nats, with Yampi, and that's what I'm looking at primarily here. That's what I'm hoping for, and I'm hoping that we see something more than what we saw at the kickoff from these teams.
And I think that kind of then leads into my next kind of question for you, really, is with the little bit of downtime they've had now, where do you adjust? Because both these teams can't be happy with their results, if I'm honest. It wasn't probably where they wanted to be. Where do you start? What do you look at here? What are your tangibles to try and work forward?
Yeah, I think definitely for Liquid, it's their strengths are their individual skill, it's their aggression and their confidence. But it's like a double-edged sword because at the same token, they overheat all the time and they're griefing these rounds. So they need to work on their coordination and their overall game plan. But we're going to start it off right here on Split.
Yeah, I mean, it is all up in the air, right? It's just like, what do we see from these two? How much has been adjusted? It's a real touching of base between both of them because, as said, I think there were some high hopes for these squads and we saw glimmers of it, but it certainly didn't amount to the results they would have been after. So they've had a little bit of downtime during Madrid, got to sit back at home and watch, you know, a player's nightmare, and now we have to see what they've got here for us. And that's already going to be checked on. The Paranoia going to slow the roll and give him a way out, but looks like KOI are pretty hell-bent on trying to get towards having control in this 3-2 split.
I like how Team Liquid abandoned that B Heaven setup. They didn't have the numbers to deal with it, and they re-aggressed towards the B main area here. As the map goes quiet, KOI actually just pumped a little bit, saw what was going on, didn't break the Cypher cam yet, though.
Shadow was surely mini-map moment there because he was absolutely befuddled. And this late-stage aggression, as you noted, that little B main kind of re-aggress, that space-taking, that reaction to losing Heaven control opens up so much of an avenue. And look at the position that KOI have to work with. They need to fight back for some space. Be it CT, be it main, they need a little something. They don't have Heaven, so they've opted for CT. Looking like this is the challenge they're after, but it's already being considered. You can see the positioning coming out from Yampi. Perfect consideration! And a great bit of work from Yampi there. This is stunning. Starks, a great player himself, but way too many numbers. Josh, that was a beautiful round from TL.
That was actually a beautiful round. There's actually so many things that they did well there. And this is kind of like one of the things that, at least KOI, when they reflect on whatever happens this game, this is like a round that they want to look at for their own defense sides, because Team Liquid did everything well there. They had the setup on B Heaven. They realized, hey, we're getting pressured here hard. What happens? They push through A main. Kaquka goes all the way through sewers, you know, helping out the team with a little bit of map control and info. And then what happens was the B Heaven players, they disengage from B Heaven, they go back into site, and then they re-aggress on B main. As soon as they make contact at sewers, they're pushing through B main and taking that contact as well. So really good proactivity there. Then once they get the man advantage, they kind of slow down, they wait for KOI to make the next mistake. And they do.
Right there.
All right, Movistar KOI gonna have to really get their heads in the game here. It looks like Liquid have turned up to play a really good look in the first round, and being rewarded for that behavior will set you in motion. Early flash will connect.
Guys are down.
So not really going to know how many, but certainly bodies are on this side of the map. And wait and see if there is that proactive approach. Obviously a fine margin. Don't want to go too overboard, but that's a lot of information for Enzo there.
Yeah, it's great info, and KOI can't really do anything too aggressively here, but I think they don't... That's not their plan right now. Their plan right now is to kind of like work the econ a little bit, maybe get an opening pick here, and then see what they can go from there. They're not really heavily invested in this. They got 3 classics. They're just biding their time and seeing how many mistakes Liquid can make. And as we pointed out, they have a tendency to overheat.
They certainly do. Let's see if that's been worked on. Is that composure now key along Team Liquid? Yampy maintaining control, but a quick slip through the vents. This then kind of pours in. Kiko, see what he can do here. Should be able to hold off quite well. Yep, does do good damage and dips away. Gonna make them work for their dinner. And there's no easy kills coming in here for KOI.
30 seconds.
Yeah, and what's happening though is that we're seeing Liquid right now. They have to back up, and they're giving so much space and respect. They have to give this space and respect. But what that means is over on A side, it's just Nats there between them and the site. If they're able to get into Nats, kill him, and get the spike planted, that's a really good eco round.
10 seconds. Can they cause any sort of chaos? Maybe a plant? Plant is going to go in, and 1 kill to boot. That's about it. I mean, it's not ideal. Nats handled the pressure well. Diffuse going to come in. I mean, but as I said, for KOI, they weren't expecting wonders. They weren't expecting miracles. It was more just get a grip of the map, see what they can work out, see what they can pressure, and if they could do some economic damage towards Team Liquid.
Yeah, we're forcing out a couple of repurchases of armor. We took out Nats. We got the spike plant. We got the orb from A main as well. So all things considered, things are going decently well for an eco round. You can't really ask for too much there. And right now, they're just building towards their economy and their ultimate economy. And this is going to be one of the bigger rounds of the half, because we're getting really close to some ultimates, namely the Fade's ulti. And if KOI gets that early into the half and are able to swing some rounds because of it, I think that's going to be really scary for Liquid here, because Split, you need as many defense rounds as possible.
Absolutely. And again, I'm kind of eyes on Liquid here as well, just to see if they have something in mind on this kind of, you know, bonus round that they're left on. A little bit of a repurchase here and there, but Nats didn't particularly invest heavily. So again, trying to keep that money building in the best way possible.
I'm really liking what Liquid did here at the start. They put the pressure over towards B main early. They forced KOI away, and now they're re-aggressed into a mid fight. There are all 4 people here playing retake A, going into this mid aggression here. A little bit ill-timed.
A little off kilter. Camo lucky to be alive, but still standing. This kind of plays in Nats. This is a lot on his shoulders. Again, he only has a ghost. So this isn't one of the rounds you're expecting him to pop off, but can he buy a couple of seconds?
Cage trigger.
Can KOI keep this clean? All rifles, you want to see those carried forward. Already site going to be cleared, so they know that they can ferry across the spike. That should be going down any second. Looks like that's the case. Any sort of naughtiness from Liquid is what we're looking for now. Not a great deal to play with. It's very tricky to pressure this back in. Still a flash in the dog on Enzo. A little bit of kit, not a great deal.
There.
I like what Liquid's doing.
Yeah.
They're not rushing into anything. They're clearing everything. They clear the vents. They're looking for any lurkers. They're going to clear the ramp together. They know that this round might very well be lost. What they're doing is they're seeing if KOI makes any mistakes, they're going to take their time. If they have an opportunity, they're going to go for it. But at the worst case, it's a bonus round. They don't care. They're just going to, if they make all of KOI die to the spike here, that's a win.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You could already see him trying to escape through CT. Enzo going to grab another. That's Scorino down. And this is actually getting a little bit costly. And again, these are rifles they were losing. Luckily, Shados is a safe pair of hands, but that's just 2 standing. Make it just 1.
He was right there.
He was right there.
He could have gotten away, but he ran back into it.
Yeah, that's a costly first buy for Movistar KOI. That's going to sting a little bit. They can afford it again, but they lose that nice buffer they could have built.
Yeah, I mean, getting the round's good. Getting a buffer is nicer. We're about to start seeing ultis unlock, especially if we start seeing them going for either of the orbs. So we might see like an A main or a B main control at the start of the round, get that orb. They'll get that ulti online with a kill or with a spike plant. So that's going to be something that I'm looking forward to here to see how they kind of do this push-pull. And they're starting split. They're getting the Viper set up on A. That aggressive lurk, they're going to find out where Nats has been playing. But what I like about Liquid is they've done a different setup every round, and they haven't been doing something like super aggressive every round. They've been changing it up enough, though, that they can kind of have this first stage, this first phase of what's going to happen. Then when KOI does something, okay, we're going to do this other thing. So right now, we're seeing this push into B main. They're going to have all the info here that, hey, nothing's going on over here. Here's the timing on the Omen. They're going to be posted up, and by the time that Garbino peeks out again,
but how much information do they get from that? Again, it is a play for control. They do get to kind of put the banner towards B main, make them work if they want to try and retake that space. But you can already see the lean. They're starting to go over towards events. This has been a pressure point. This is not subtle. And 2 players will be in response. Mystic being one, Nats the other. Already see the drift coming through from Yampi as well, considering is it time to now put a lot more stock into this. And it looks like that may be the case. Again, caution being aired by KOI. Nats play. Oh my God. What just happened? Camo's going to find 2, and that is a fumble and a half. And it's rare to see that from Nats. Really unexpected. Enzo is almost played out of this round. It's going to require a 1v3. Incredibly difficult. Plant being put down now. Grabino just lost somewhere in the map, basically. He can't pin these players down. It's time to look for a save here. What the hell just happened?
You know, this is a great example of a round where you do so many things right, and it still doesn't work out. You still lose the round. So what did we see that was right from Team Liquid? Well, they got the aggression onto B main. They took it on the timing. Once KOI started putting pressure on mid, they got the info on the Omen. They had a really good setup towards A ramp, where basically all this aggression towards B and B heaven is going to funnel all of the Movistar's KOI players through the vents into A heaven, and that's where Cypher and Omen are playing together. They're not playing one site, one heaven. They're not, you know, split up or anything like that. They're not trying to hold the site even. They're just trying to lock down one specific area, and that's A heaven. And if Nats gets that kill, it's like we're having a completely different conversation. So I think the setup in itself was good, and I think we're seeing a better revamped Liquid right now.
It does look like it, right?
Yeah.
But it almost stings a little because you're still staring at a 2-2 scoreline.
Yeah.
Because this one moment, I don't know if he thought he had the kill.
No, he definitely thought he had the kill there.
Again, but it's so rare to see that from Nats as well, right? Like, he's normally your kind of like rock solid player, makes few mistakes, and seeing that happen early is a little unfortunate. Hopefully they don't lose faith in the idea, because the concept is good. It was just, as I said, that one mistake can cost you here, and KOI are going to love that. That's a chance to rebuild, get the buffer back. They are now so close to some of those key ultimates coming online as well. That's massive for them.
Another new setup here for the defense side of Team Liquid. But with just the one Phantom, they're really trying to leverage that right now. So they're playing a 2-1-2 setup here. And as soon as they get info on the extremities, they're instantly moving to middle. They know that that next action is going to be at middle, and they want to be there, ready to fight with the Flash, with the Phantom, with maybe even popping the Raze Rocket here. Good bait out from KOI, though.
Yeah, KOI managing to evade past the paranoia being posted. Enzo did take a swing, so they should be able to start identifying where that one rifle is. Not fully aware of the rest, obviously, you see what they've gone for, but I mean, the money tells you quite a lot. At this point, they're already starting to peel away. KOI having to respect this. Again, they did lose B main control early. That adjusted setup could be quite telling here. Don't know about the timing on this one. Camera does get removed, which does give Nats at least an idea, but they've bought a lot of time. They're down to about 40 seconds now for KOI. Looking for that re-hit. They still have a lot of utility to play with, and now middle control.
This is a bit tough. They took a read, they did a gamble stack on A, and that's a good call. Like, making a call, just
30 seconds
picking
left.
a 50-50, you might catch them, they might go into you, and that's exactly what you want, but the rifle's not with them right now. The rifle was trying to solo the B site, so here comes the A hit.
Do they get any benefits? Camo already going to clear Mystic. There are still 2 players here. Another spotted and another taken down. The gamble stack not really working out, as they did lose Enzo in the meantime, so that's a rifle gone and cleared cleanly. KOI navigating this space very well.
Yeah, and I think hats off to KOI on that round for having the understanding of the awareness that they need to do a pump set at middle. They didn't go straight into a trap. They didn't go and just say, like, okay, the first time we use an ability, we're going up here. They did a breach flash into vents. They threw up a fade eye. They used a prowler even, and they didn't go with that. They were just waiting to see what the reaction was, because Team Liquid, they don't have, if they're on eco, they don't have a lot of abilities, right? They don't have the money for the abilities. So they basically, once they see anything happen, they have to act on that. So they get triggered, and there's nothing.
Interesting coach cam there. Not sure what that's about. TP toyed with, and Starks are rewarded out of nowhere. That's devastating.
Why peek that early into your Viper ulti? Once you pop that, you just wait behind the wall, have someone protect you to make sure that it gets up all the way, and you just have to dodge the first 30 bullets of the spam. You know that's going to come. Every Viper player knows this. So a little bit of an overheat moment there by Yumpy giving that up, but another reaction from Team Liquid. They lose a player, they lose mid, they're going to take something else. They're going to take B main here, and now they don't even care. Go up B heaven if you want, KOI. Go up, because you're going to get to the site. Now we're going to pinch you on a, three-prong attack on the retake.
They're going to leave the operator on the other side, hoping that's enough. Again, we know that the route that KOI likes to take is through that vent, slicing up middle. Garino already noting the players over towards B main. There's no subtlety towards this. But if anything, it just encourages KOI to head this way, putting a lot of pressure in Kiko's hands. How much he's going to be able to achieve here. Shados' timing could be devastating. Stunning shot on the first. Nats does get to keep his life, but still. Oh, the ult as well on top. Nats survive, already being pinched here. Player left, right, and center. He goes down again. This is the pressure, though. Mystic still amongst them. In a lot of danger here. Has to swing, and KOI so heads up in their clear. And that's going to be another save here. There's no chance they're going to bring that operator in for this one. And I've got to give credit again. KOI looking like they're very aware of what Liquid wants to do. They've identified that very early on now.
Yeah, they look like they have a lot of layers in their attack, but I think that's nothing new from them. Like, we saw this all throughout kickoff, that they had really good initial game plans, and they really knew how to play into their agent pool. They knew their win conditions. They knew how to play the maps to a certain degree, but where they falter is kind of in the mid-rounds if they lose a player early, and then also going into the second half on defense. So I don't want to like hold my breath right now and be like, oh my god, is this like a new revamped team or not? Because like this is what we come to expect of them on their attacks. But I do like the layers that they have to their attack. They're taking the map in stages. They're doing some misdirection, some pumps. So they're pumping towards A, but then they're ending towards B. They're keeping a lot of map control, and they understand now that Liquid's trying to be aggressive and get in their faces. And right here we saw them punish it with this nice regroup. What I didn't like what I saw from Liquid there is that Mystic came all the way from A all the way to B, but he just kind of like started standing around, like walking around with no real purpose or direction there. I think if he was able to get closer to B main earlier, maybe he could have used like, his Omen Flash to get into market to help keep Nats alive there.
Yep. Yeah.
They're back.
They're back again. But I'm looking at the ults as well now. This is going to start adding another layer to this that KOI gets to depend on, right? They've got some very key ultimates. Yampy last round invested his, and it really didn't go to the way he would have wanted that. But again, we're looking at the purchase. Bulldogs, still a couple of rifles coming out. They've got enough to fashion a buy here. Not missing too much kit, and looking to maybe playing Kiko on this.
Don't block the dog.
Gonna have the info and has the angle. That's big. Nice pick there at the start. Shadow going down might make this a little trickier to take those sites.
Yeah, and I really don't like actually how KOI's been holding onto all these ults for so long. I feel like they've had them for a few rounds now, and now they've just stacked up 3, and now they don't even get to use one of them. So not a great usage of the ultimates, and credit to Team Liquid. That was a really good play. The Sky getting wide, then popping the boom bot, and then trying to bait out with the dog, the peaks into the Opper, and that happened. They got their man advantage, they backed off of the setup, but now here comes the B site hit.
Yeah, Camo gonna take down Enzo. This now has to depend on the likes of Kiko to do some damage here, but already you can see the threat that he's under, and Camo's gonna take down Kiko. This is now a problem. A player to the good, sight somewhat under control. Ult's now being layered into this. This is going to take a great deal of work for Liquid to try and dismantle. Nats through heaven. I don't see where they find this access point. They don't have the B main control. They don't have a lurk in this one. It's going to need an individual to try and stand up to task. Yes, Camo a little low, but that's about it. Nats starting to show position here, trying to clear. Oof, close, but no cigar on this.
Looks like they're about to save, maybe?
I mean, they've got to call it soon, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're out.
That's it. Mystic going for a repeat on that. A little dangerous and a little risky with the operator. Prized possession at this point, but again, another save for Liquid here. They just haven't been able to deal with that frontline KOI. Starting to really get into the swing of things.
Yeah, I mean, it looked so good for Team Liquid at the start of the round there, too. They got that opening pick. I was, you know, in the middle of saying, like, oh, look, at the way they did this with the sky baiting for the Opera. They gave the pick, they got out, they were able to reset. Everything looked so good to them. And then here comes the Fade ulti into the site, the full hit from KOI. And what happens? Team Liquid lose 2 right there on the entry, and they don't even get another kill. So it was like, what are we doing? Like, we have the man advantage. We know, like, all these ultis are coming. Why are we still kind of in the site in this type of situation where we could get punished for this? Okay. Okay.
Do you not love the Barbar cam?
Pardon me?
Do you not like Barbar's cam?
No, I love the camera, but I don't know. I'm not sure about the noises that were coming out of the mouth.
Well, hey, it's working. 5-2. All right, that's how you beat Liquid.
Yeah, well, I mean that's part of how you beat Liquid. It's nothing new here. It's
This is just a kind of look back almost on that last season. A lot of the key things still looking good for KOI.
Yes.
Now, unfortunately, in my mind, Team Liquid did look good initially. They came in with some nice ideas, a couple of competent ways to make it work. There were some unfortunate rounds, to be fair, but again, there were also player mistakes that opened up that opportunity. Now it's going down at ramp, right? Repeat that round, he may get that kill every single time afterwards, but it is what it is. It's how it works. Yampi getting caught in the ult as well in middle. Some of these key rounds slipping away has now pumped the brakes. Liquid going to call the timeout. I don't know what the adjustment is, though. What do you say in this instance?
If I'm the coach there or the IGL, I'm probably saying, like, guys, we have like the right idea. It's our execution of the ideas that are being a problem right now. So, you know, we got the opening pick on this other round, and then we give it up afterwards because we're getting site exec on and we're trying to hold the site. We don't need to hold the site. Let's stick to the game plan. Yampi, why are we peeking out with our ulti there when we know they're going to spam as soon as we pop the ulti? Just wait a few seconds. Like, all of the ideas, everything's going well. Just stick to the plan and we'll be okay.
Well, let's see if that resides. And it looks like, a quick evacuation of the site. If they are feeling these full execs are coming, and I mean, you can already look at the site itself. There's so much pressure here. Camo going to be clearing all the way up towards heaven. Seeker's going to be coming through. This should force Camo away. Going to give away the game, but it does eventually fall back. This should be the springboard towards the site.
KOI has the breach ulti, though, for this post plan. And that's going to be really scary for Liquid. They know that as soon as they start trying to do something, it's going to come out. They can't all get caught by it.
Looking at where Shadow's placing, it looks towards heaven. First bit of contact comes in, but KOI clearing house, still leaving a couple of players here to capitalize on the ult. By the time, yes, Mystic wins out, but they're already down to 2. One being the operator. Looks like another round the Liquid are going to have to fall away from. KOI, these site takes are great. To be fair, they're great. They're looking well-rounded, but there's nothing beyond expectation. They are playing a good game, but Liquid need to get a grip on this now because the game's about to start falling away. Nice shot, but it doesn't really matter. Rifle gone. And at this point, there's financial reasons to chase.
Yikes.
That's not good.
That's not good at all. And, you know, just looking at Team Liquid here, it's slipping away from them a little bit. Like, round by round, it's slipping. And I have to go back to the point that it's not too, like, far gone, but what we see from KOI was pretty brilliant, actually. We saw a pace change. Usually they've been kind of, like, slowly working towards an extremity, maybe setting up the Viper Shadows to cross a ramp, maybe the Fade Prowler to help set them up. And then as soon as they do that, they go into middle, but they don't do anything right away with middle. They usually go back and re-clear the extremity first. So Liquid's just taking a gamble that they're not going to do anything quick, and then what KOI does is they just walk up B main. They run into the site for free because Team Liquid's playing the retake. They're not expecting that.
Yeah, this is going to be now an uphill struggle. Of course, Liquid having to respect the financial position they're in, opting for just the Sheriffs and some...
Right there.
I mean, I say some Sheriffs. I think it's just one at this point, and that's about it. So Liquid need to figure this out fast, otherwise KOI going to just start walking away with this game. Credit to KOI for playing well, but as I said, those opportunities slipping between the fingertips here for Liquid.
I wonder, with that info that there's a player in vent, are they going to pump again like they did in the previous round and just throw a flash, throw anything to find out, hey, are Team Liquid still here? If they are, maybe we see the Sky Flash and the Raise Nade coming out right away, and then we could just like run to the other site. And right now, we saw that disengage from KOI. They kind of gave up middle. They let Team Liquid take a peek, see nothing. Now Team Liquid's moving to the next spot. Honestly, so many good things from KOI right now.
Yeah, this is actually very impressive to witness. Feeling the pace of the game perfectly, kind of got Liquid wrapped around their little finger. And they're going to hear this. That is audible They're going to note the rotation
30
towards that A
seconds
site. They've made a misread. I mean, if you're Liquid, you do have to take a gamble. There is part
right
of that.
there.
But again, you got to give credit here to KOI. This wasn't just a random bit of luck. They're double pump in middle, that kind of, as you said, that quiet disengage, falling away, letting them re-clear, seeing nothing, and then going for the gamble stack on A. And to be fair, in one of the previous rounds, KOI did go for that A hit as well. So it may be an educated guess, but credit to KOI in this for reading it and really playing this to the best of their capability. And really, at this point, what are you meant to do?
It's like that martial arts stuff where you kind of like use your opponent's momentum against them, so you like flip them on their backs, whatever. That's what KOI is doing to Liquid right now. They understand how Liquid's playing their defense right now with all the proactivity and kind of like re-clearing areas and pushing for info. And right now, what they're doing is, hey, you're going to do this. I understand that, so I'm going to let you clear it. Think that it's clear. You're going to over-rotate, over-react to the other site, and then we're going to be able to like walk into a free site.
Yep. And even if this gets messy, again, keep in mind the finances behind KOI are very robust. Yes, Liquid will take it, but it's not really, going to matter in this point. KOI, comfortable. 7 rounds to their name after what looked like a great start from Liquid. A lot of key things we were taking. We go, okay, this looks good. Late round re-clearing aggression, taking map control, all of the stuff you tick the box for, and then we got to round 3.
Yeah.
And it's not recovered since. I don't really know what Liquid can do at this point. It comes down to the players now, as you said, kind of executing the plan, keeping that in mind. This is a huge chance for them. They have, I mean, 1 ults there, and it's not particularly fantastic. Mystic, the only one with it online at this point. Same to be said on the other side, but still, nothing key to change the outcome.
It doesn't matter, because last time they had ultis, Yampi instantly died after popping his ulti, and Kiko popped his Raise Rocket and just used it as a zoning ulti until he got grenaded down at the sidewalk. So it doesn't really matter that much. Sorry,
I'm hearing your depression starting.
But, I mean, we need to see better ulti economy from, I would say, both teams. I saw more value from KOI, especially with that Fade ulti into the B site on that 1 round, the Raise Rocket entry as well. I think there's been good moments there, but Team Liquid's not had good value out of their ults.
Okay. Nats last time didn't have a great start into this. Going to need him to do a little better here. Normally noted for it. Enzo already falling. Isolates. It leaves Nats on island. Does have support from CT and a great shot. Going to alleviate some of that pressure coming through, but now Nats goes re-exploring. This time he's got it. Clears out Camo and now controls the space. Spike now left in a bit of a predicament as well. But again, look at this positioning from KOI. They're in CT. This could be a re-clear. It's almost a switch of sides at this point. You know, no paranoid to play with, maybe waiting on the smoke to come back around here and just pausing for a second. TP.
Yeah, I think he was going to grab the spike with that.
I don't think that was a good enough trade here. Now down to a 2v2. They've got to know that Nats was still around by sight. That's not a surprise. I don't know if they've had contact on Yampi yet. Probably. But what can Shadow and Shados do? Nats goes walking, gets the timing just right. Spike does go back to hand, but with 15 seconds, it's limited options here for Shadow, and Yampi was catching the cross, and he catches the player. Liquid levying the score a little bit here, bringing back to touch. That was a nice sight hold from them.
Yeah, that was actually pretty cool. I thought the push by Nats there was super sketchy. I was actually getting a little bit nervous. It almost looked for a second like he flicked off that kill and was like, oh, I have this. And then, oh, wait, no, it was like the
I was
fake,
worried for it to happen
clear,
again.
right?
Yeah.
But I think that push into screens there by Liquid, it was actually smart. And the reason why is because they identified that Omen had his ulti up. So what was going to happen if they just sat around A site is KOI could have gone to B, had the Omen do his ultimate, pick up the spike, and then plant on B for a free site. So Liquid's like, oh, we can't let this happen. So we're going to like get out of the site. We're going to take some space. We're going to try to fight them. We know they're in spawn. Let's go take this fight, because if we don't, we've lost.
Maybe that's enough to bring a little fire back to Liquid here. Enzo looking to potentially playing Kiko again. Saw that worked quite well on the B site before. Just opting for the angle for now. Not going to explore too far, but he's got plenty of targets.
Yeah, he knows that the Viper usually starts here, and the Viper usually gets set up. But he doesn't bite too much. Not this time.
Camo got to be careful. Down to 30. Speaking of ults, there we go. That's not bad. But Grabino already there. Takes down Kiko and opens up an opportunity until Yampi shuts it. 3 back-to-back, bringing it into a favorable situation for Liquid. Heroics from him. And it's all Grabino. But a 1v2. He's got time. But he's got a lot of targets to clear. 2 of them towards Heaven. It's worked for Mystic. But credit that round to Yampi. I mean, he found 3 there to turn that back around.
Yeah, that's an angle that you love to have the Phantom on. But when we were sitting there looking at the 2-6 scoreline, I was thinking to myself, Liquid need to get at least 4 rounds here to be comfortable going into the second half. They have 4 with the potential to get 5 right now. So without trying to jinx anything, you know, we might have a game on our hands here. But we're so close to so many different ultis here. We're getting like 2 off of the Fade ulti. We're getting 1 off the Rocket for camo, and then on the flip side of it, we're a couple off of well, we're 1 off Yumpy's ult. See if he can get any value with that this time.
So cursed. Kiko still gonna get away without revealing the operator, but I mean it's still relatively telling. Again, trying to patrol towards middle, keep some of this control. I know KOI have been identifying this as a place that they like to pressure. This has been a pressure point. You can see the Shadow teeing up the utility. Prowler handled. Do they commit to this? You've got the extremities being held still on either side of the map, so looking like they do want to put pressure towards mid. This should be
Drop it.
Kiko's moments, and a missed shot. Camo gonna find it, and that's a problem now. Mid looking far more vulnerable. There, plenty more options. Had to use a little bit of utility to clear through, but they're still gonna be happy enough, and this is a problem. Yampy, no way! Mystic went down, and Yampy survived, and maybe the survivor's guilt was enough. Eventually, Shadow's gonna find him, but it's Nats and Enzo with a late look through middle, and Shados all too aware of that, leaving Nats, who's normally on that A site, behind the curve.
You don't need to have that much awareness to deal with someone shooting like that, though.
Cruelty, Josh.
30 seconds left.
Again, sights theirs. Nats can quietly come over here, but he's found. It was a bit of a feeble attempt at the end there. I mean, it felt like it was all based around that operator finding value. As soon as it doesn't, it crumbled.
Yeah, I think they had a lot of good things going there. Getting just mixing up the difference between going with the Sky's info, with the flash, with the dog, with the peek, and then sometimes the Sky's on the opposite side of where the opper is, so that you don't know if is the Sky setting up the op by getting direct info or indirect info. Oh, the Sky sees people outside A, okay, you can get the deep line at B. Okay, you're going to move up with the dog and peek behind it. So I think that Liquid had some pretty good ideas there, but it just fell short on too many different occasions. Missed op shot in that last round, for example. A couple, a few rounds before that, they got executed on at the B site and they weren't able to get off the site. They did so many things well, but it's always the coordination, the execution where they fall short.
And now this is the telling point. This is the test. Is 4 enough? Again, you've got to almost argue the pistol is paramount to their success too. To be so hard, to be so uphill, and Saxo trying to be a little audacious at the beginning. Swings out and finds the pointy end of the stick. And again, KOI just being aggressive in this. I mean, they do have rounds to play with, and they have cleared 1. But again, you look on the other side of the map, the spike should be going down. We are in a 3v3 here. Enzo's position. Feast or famine. Does he get what he wants from this? Do they even clear it? They're considering it. They absolutely do. But Enzo succeeds. Big work from Enzo there. And that's going to give Team Liquid a chance in this.
And I think one thing that we're going to see from this map is also how Liquid's going to probably go into their Ascent. Split and Ascent can play a very similar style in some weird, obscure way on their attack side, right? So we're going to see that, though. We saw heavy emphasis towards A, and then what that actually does is it sets up the 2-man B walk with the spike, and then the players are able to kind of like trickle around and be like, there's like 3 or 4 different lurkers every round for this team. So I think that's what we're going to see them kind of emphasize a lot on this map and Ascent on their attacks.
And KOI not really slowing down on the aggression, putting high priority towards B main control. Going to get the ult orb, but going to lose out on 1 on the way. Again, they are working with classics, and that's about it. So not really looking for too much here. Already probably got what they wanted, at least with the ult orb. Can they do some more damage, though? Potentially force a little bit more of a repurchase for Liquid. Plenty of players on the right side for now, at least, but I wonder if Liquid continue on this pathing.
I like how Liquid's right now is... They didn't do a good job of this on defense, was getting an advantage and then keeping that advantage. And I think right now, that's what they're trying to focus on and let KOI kind of make the next mistake. And this is something that KOI did really well against Liquid in the first half. And it's another thing that, is KOI going to bite? Are they going to over-rotate? Are they going to peek for info and then run into Team Liquid right now? And it looks like that's actually happening.
Yeah, being rewarded for their patience here. They're going to find Starks in middle. Now, there is a lot of players on this side, but again, Weapon should outdo it, and it does. Team Liquid, very well approached, very well rounded. This looks good. This could be a game on our hands now, right? Like, we're getting to the point where the scoreline doesn't look as egregious. You start forgetting some of the issues from that first half. You think, 6-8, we've got a game on. But Again, this does come back to, does KOI then have those adjustments we were looking through, I guess, from regular season, or at least kickoff, not regular season? Have they done the work we were looking for here? Does Liquid have the capability to keep doing this? Again, this is similar to the start of the first half too, so can't read too much into it yet, but this is the bonus round. I mean, maybe could be telling going forward.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with what we saw at kickoff between these two teams against each other was that the matches always went the distance, but the problem with Liquid was they weren't all showing up. It was only like one person showing up. The rounds where everyone showed up, they played well. And right now, we're seeing a lot of Liquid showing up. It's not just one player here or there. It's like everyone's kind of showing up. You know, a couple of bad missed shots from, you know, Nats on that one round. That was a pretty pivotal round that probably cost a couple of rounds. But it's like they're all kind of, they're not really overheating except for that Yampi one round, for example.
Not the ideal start for Kaquka there, looking to pressure towards Heaven early, but they have managed to slip the net a touch. Yampi in a position deeper towards a cubby on the back of B, but again, let's see if KOI are even considering this. The paranoia just around the corner is actually going to clip towards Nats, but it plays in Yampi. A little bit of a surprise there, creeping up with the wall. Yampi again looking to reaggress. Nice timing from Mystic to swing. That's lovely coordination between the two, but it's still Shadow and Starzo. There is still pressure in this, and the two rifles up for grabs. They've got a couple of upgrades here as well. Mystic makes the most of his. This is ideal. This is a fantastic round. As Starzo, his options are done here. I don't think you get to play back into this.
No, when you're against a bonus round like this and you're in a 1 versus 3, you have to save that.
You're out.
You got to, because like we're getting really close to an Enzo ulti, for example. But the thing that I really liked here is, and it's something that we should point out about, you know, if you just look at something by the numbers and just look only at the stats, right there, it's like Kiko went out mid, he died, but he got a lot of info, created a lot of space, and that let his teammates walk out onto B site. Nats got all the way to the back, or Yampi got all the way to the back of the site there, and then what happened is they dropped the wall and they're able to have this crossfire, and KOI's getting pinched from 2 different angles. They let the B walkout happen, and it was all on the backs of like Kiko's sacrifice, basically. He didn't get to get any kills or rewards or, you know, praise for that. So I'm going to do that right now for him.
What a nice guy.
It was an impact to death. That's what I
That sounds like the most Steel thing ever. Like,
it's an impact
even in my death, I
death.
promise you, it's really valuable. I love the way this is just what you've told yourself throughout the years. But there is validity to it. Again, you got to look at the value they just won from that round. It's huge, right? This then probably ties up the scoreline. Probably, you know, stranger things have happened, but they have no ult to depend upon for KOI, so they are going to be coming in with Sheriffs and that one remaining rifle that Starzo managed to get away with. But beyond that, this should now be, I don't want to say a walk in the park, but this is Liquid probably closing the gap. I'm a little worried about this, though, but how much does Starzo get? He is chomping at the bit here, and the reveal is dangerous. Starzo, can he live? Can he survive? He's still here. He's got to back away from this. Already finding value is great. You don't need to overdo this one. Nat's looking to try and even the odds, but this is so dangerous from both sides.
Yeah, and we're going to see this actual mid activation happening coming through the vents. They're going to be able to get the crossfire and the backstep onto A Heaven here.
Oh, Yampi, yeah, beautiful work. The timing was excellent. You saw the pause over towards main, waiting for them to clear through from Heaven. It's a great recovery from Liquid after there was genuine threat and danger. The last player remaining, Gravino, not going to have any play this round. Very well maintained by Liquid there. You could see the idea from KOI, but again, that pressure in Heaven clearing back through, not falling too foul to Starzo's, I guess, attempt towards main.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that, well, I had a few things written down for Team Liquid here, and part of it was like what their strengths were was their individual skill, their aggression, their confidence. Their weaknesses was overheating and coordination, and especially it's the coordination on their attack side because they rely on the individual skill so much, and because they rely on setting up lurkers, kind of just getting people inserted into really deep spots. It's really important that they have good coordination. So it's not just enough that you have someone inserted, it's that you have to kind of go at the right time. So it's like, it's your time, it's like a red light, green light, where you have a green light, but your teammate has a red light. And their traditional problem, going back to kickoff, was that, you know, too many people would be going, you know, when they have a red light, and not enough people were going when they had a green light, and it caused like this mismatch of, okay, Yampi's all the way up there, but, you know, these guys are all the way back there, what's going on? But right now, it's looking really good that, you know, as soon as they get a little bit of pressure at A main, they're like, oh wait, they're fighting us right now, they're backed off, oh, you should have some space at middle, go up middle, okay, the middle guys are up, they're in A Heaven, they're fighting, okay, now we reactivate. And I think this is kind of like a change that we expected to see, or hope to see. Yeah, we hope to see it, I mean, we expected to see it before kickoff started, but, you know, you kind of have to take what you get. And right now, you know, does it look like they used the last month to kind of hone in on this, get to the VOD review, look at kind of what was going wrong in kickoff? Hey, guys, like we're on the right path, but right now what's happening is our coordination and our timings are whack.
Yeah.
We're going, you know, let's fix this. Let's make sure that once we've done our job, we chill, we wait for the next signal to go, and then we go on that signal. We can't just like start going before that signal. And I think we're seeing that paying off right now. Obviously, you know, 8-8 isn't the scoreline that you want to be sitting here talking about when we're praising them. But considering they had such a, you know, deficit in the first half, 2-8, or whatever the scoreline was, they're doing pretty good.
They are. I mean, I think this is marked improvement in areas that were worrying. Again, if we'd come into this game and we're an 8-8, and let's say, I don't know, Nats and Kiko are having a nuts performance, they were just kind of not necessarily hard carrying, but you know that like they're having big impact. It kind of then hides all the crimes and the sins of the actual roster that maybe they hadn't adjusted throughout the little bit of downtime between kickoff and now, but it's not the case. We're seeing everyone on Liquid doing pretty well for themselves. We're seeing them looking like they've adjusted some of those issues. So this is all kind of looking like it's teeing up to they could have fixed some of the problems. I do want to flip the, I guess, the look then towards KOI, because first half looked kind of like we not expected, but again, hope to see a similar look where they still looked as confident, comfortable, individually impactful. A lot of things that KOI looked great at during kickoff, but now it's like, okay, do they have that adjustment on the second half here? Do they have that growth area as well? Because we've seen Liquid kind of tick in the box. They've closed the gap here. They've looked good doing it. Now we have to ask the question towards KOI. Obviously, we are in a tech pause here. This isn't a tactical one. I think the producer did tell me what it was. Didn't listen. Sorry, Alberto. But are they investigating? That's why. Someone is out there with their little investigator hat on, figuring out what the problem is. But still, it's are those key markers there for KOI as well to show that improvement? Because it is a rare treat to get downtime during, you know, if you're a team, if you're finishing towards mid to top pack, it's a busy season. And especially if you're in that top pack, when do you ever get time to readjust and kind of come back out with a new look? But these guys did have downtime. They didn't go to Madrid, they didn't qualify that far, so they've had time to hopefully identify those issues. So the question is, how are we going to see that with KOI now, right? Because they had that great first half, they'll be happy enough with that, but that was never their issue, right, from regular kickoff.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, just to tie up the Liquid thing, it's like they really focused on playing into their strengths and making sure that their strengths are sorted. But when we look at KOI right now, we know that their strength was their attack side and their weakness was the mid rounds and their defense. And the reason why defense is so hard is because you can't have all 5 players on the same page going towards like one coordinated effort.
Sure.
Hey, we're going to take middle. Once we have middle, you guys are going to do that. And once you do that, we're going to do this.
Very
and then we're going to end here.
Right?
It's very easy. Like the flow chart and everything's all laid out. Everyone knows what to do.
Do you make flow charts?
I don't make flowcharts,
okay,
but like I mean, it's like more of like a mental, you know, whatever. So when you go into the defense side here, you have to have this individual decision making. You don't have that same flowchart where you have like really clear-cut protocols and if-then statements. People need to make their own internally. Just decide like, hey, if this is going to happen, I'm going to do that. And you can't have one person kind of babysit and handhold the whole way and kind of
like
micromanage.
You
can't do this. It's not StarCraft where you know you get to control these unit groups and whatever. Like, you're not a commander, so you're there, you're doing your own thing, and you're part of the map, and you're like, oh, they're doing this stuff. Like, I can suggest something across the map to you, like, hey, they're doing this. These are your 3 options. Pick one and do something. And if the players that are on the other side of the map don't make a good plan, or don't make the plan in time, or don't execute it on a timely fashion, then that's when things fall apart. And you know, if you're KOI and you are the coach or the IGL and you're on this off season and you're looking at what do we need to focus on? Well, our attack game plans are solid right now. We don't really need to focus too much on that. Let's focus on our defense a little bit. Let's focus inwards and figure out what are we doing or what are we not doing that's causing us to have such a discrepancy between our attack and defense.
But it does feel almost harder because you are banking on that kind of puzzle-solving skill as an individual on the defending side of those players, right? Like, as you said, on the attack, you either get the IGL, it's a very clear-cut plan, you can kind of work through it. You don't get to determine that pace or whatever thrown at you on the defensive side. So this will be quite a test of the individuals and their capability to question, to find out, to find those answers, to get those solutions that they're looking for here. And again, it was just a KOI timeout at the end, if you were wondering. So hopefully, with a check-in from Barbar, maybe they can come up with a concept that works for him here. But I'm kind of curious at this point, right? This is KOI's time to step up and show if they've made those adjustments that maybe we liked with Liquid, but can KOI do something similar where they kind of, I guess, relieve us of any of those worries from that kickoff side, which I think we're being very honest about this, but neither of these teams would have been happy with their kickoff results. I think that's a very obvious sentiment, but still, coming back into this Liquid, be taken towards middle to begin with.
I think we're starting to see the issue with KOI's defense here with our composition. They don't have a sentinel here to get the passive info to kind of like lean on certain places so they can gamble fight and get real value with this breach stun. So right now it's a hit and it's a miss. They don't have a turret to get triggered. They don't have a camera. They don't have trip wires. They don't have alarm bots. Without that, they have to spread out. We see, you know, over on A, the Fade now has to use a Prowler to get info. Sees nothing immediately. Maybe she can get on a deeper line. But then Omen's sitting here holding B all by himself as well. So all the focus is on middle right now, but again, it's just like they're way too spread apart, they're way too split off, they don't have any map control, but it doesn't matter, there's 30 seconds left. Here comes the big hit. We do see the Fade getting the deep line off of that mid fight, so maybe it's going to be a hit onto the B site and they're going to have enough people here. You're going to have to see.
Reno, this is a lot of pressure in your hands. You've got to find a little bit of value, and he does. Kiko goes down, and he holds the line. Now they can start flooding back in from heaven. 13 seconds. Liquid leaving this so late in the day, but Mystic on the bailout, Nats on the follow-up. They need a plant, though, and they need it now. They got to secure this. They got to get it down. Spike's down, but so are the rest of the side. Nats the only one standing in a 1v1. Ult going to come through, looking like Quake, but already Stark's not going to reveal his position. Going to drop one down, and now there's problems. Oh, Nats! You are filthy! How does he get away with that? Oh!
That was nasty. That was dirty. I like it, though.
I missed you, Josh. You know, Mike doesn't do this to me. He's, you know, he's so clear-cut. He's a good boy. You've come in and just gone, I like it dirty. Nice one.
Well, one in Germany. So
Bergheim later.
I love how, like, so many people would start freaking out with like 12 seconds left on the clock, and you're like, oh my god, there's 12 seconds left. It only takes 4 seconds to plant the spike, or whatever, you know, roughly. So you don't have to stress out in those situations, and part of the reason why those situations work is that KOI's going to be in positions that they can't really get great fights. They're going to be swarmed and overwhelmed, and they're going to be out of abilities. So Team Liquid, one of the things I really like doing is kind of like these practice drills where it's like, okay, this practice game, we're not going to do anything but hitting in the last 20 seconds just so we can get comfortable with being on low time and being able to still get into the site, get the spike planted, and do all this stuff without freaking out, without overextending, without just like peeing our pants, basically.
Yeah. Are you telling me that scrim bucks aren't as important as everyone makes out? That's crazy.
You should be playing to get better, not playing to win. Scrims, yes.
Crazy you said that. Reddit in shambles. Maybe the analyst does too, not ours. NAs. At this point, let's see if any more naughtiness can come out of KOI. I mean, they've done a little bit of damage early on. They had to do something. You're working with bits and pieces. And actually, Gravino's found a bit of a problem here. Gets the TP back away, and he's got lovely little upgrade too. Shados now in a key position. Look at this. Playing in so perfectly. They made a mountain out of a molehill, and Mystic and Enzo are in tatters. Enzo looking to try and recover. He does well to find two, but this now is down to Mystic. He's got to do so much.
He gets a stun on the breach, gets a spike.
Hello, what is going on here? This is rotten to witness, and Stark's only got a frenzy, but 11 seconds ain't a great deal to play with, but you've told me it only takes 4 to plant, so it's not a problem. Mystic now, what do you do with this? You've got to commit to this one. And he does, oh dearie me. That is heart-wrenching for Liquid, but you'll take that every day of the week if you're KOI, but mistakes, Josh, were made there.
That's like a prime example of Liquid not kind of having that coordination. What happens? They go 1 for 1 at B main. Not the end of the world. They know KOI's fighting for B main. What does that mean? It means mid's probably open. So what happens? Liquid moves up mid. 3 of them. They're backstabbing B site. Yes, Omen ultis from A over into the back of the B site. But what happens next is Nats, the solo person B main, walks into them when he knows his teammates up B heaven. He doesn't have to go anywhere. All he has to do is wait there and wait to see if they push him. If they push him, cool, he kills them. If they don't push him, cool, his teammates come from the back, and then he can pinch with them in like 5-10 seconds from them. But then he goes out too early, he overheats. And this is the prime Liquid issue that they had all of kickoff. And that's what you hope to see them fix. So why is it so uncoordinated and disjointed and...
Yeah, that's gonna be, you know the coaches are kicking themselves too. You know they're sat there and they've seen that and they're just devastated. Again, it happens, but you don't want it in a round like that. And wow, how did that not find a player? I mean, look at the damage, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Heal gonna come out, yeah. So Enzo being alive even on 6 HP is so valuable. Nats is back to breathing. Starkso trying to catch anyone on the cross, doesn't quite get what he wants here.
You asked me why I don't want to coach, and it's like that previous round. That's why.
That's exactly why.
I mean, it's hard enough as an IGL when that happens. It's like, oh man.
Don't do this to me. But at this point, I mean, what do Liquid have here? They've got Heaven control, they've got a little bit of a step towards A, but there is still 3 players here. This is a lot to handle. Mid is out of the question, it looks like, at least for now. Maybe they want to test this, but that Viper's Pit is going to be holding. This is hard to clear. Looks like they're going to go back towards this A hit. But the problem is, look at Cameron's position. I kind of like this, going late lurking, but again, Nats gets rewarded. That's better. That's what he wanted probably in the previous round, but this patience pays, and now they're rewarded towards Heaven. There's 1 player on the site. How much damage can one man do? These late round hits now starting to become a factor. Shadow trying to buy the time, but gets cleared. They should be fine on the plant. There shouldn't be anything to threaten this. The pit drops in middle. Everything looking good here for Liquid now. They've stabilized.
And stabilization is, it's like one of those things where it sounds super obvious and easy to pull off, but it's one of those things where when you're in the moment and all this chaos is happening, it's so hard for people to realize, like, hey, we can just, like, even though we're kind of like out in the open, we can just chill for a second and let things simmer, and then maybe something happens in our way. And I think one of the things that was really cool here from what Liquid did this round was they put the pressure on the Viper from vents and from the bottom of the middle at the same time. They were like spraying to the smoke. And because of that, it kind of made KOI think like, oh, hey, like the Viper's getting pressured. Maybe they're going to go towards B. It gave a lot of space towards A. A lot of abilities were used. And then, yeah, Team Liquid was able to move up into the site again. There's like 8 seconds left as they sprayed the smoke. They got the kill on the site. They're able to get the plant with like 1 second left. But that's all you need. All you need is 1 second. So if you're going to bait out all this utility, which you have to do, there's nades, there's mollies, there's smokes, there's stuns, there's aftershocks, flashes, everything. So why not like bait it out? It's going to take a while.
Yeah, it's... I get nervous when that 18th round just gives me like flashbacks that it's all going to go wrong after that, that they're just going to start, you know, that doubt comes in. But this is a really big course correction. Probably puts them right back to believing in the plan for Liquid. For KOI, I'm curious, right? They've only had 1 round on this half so far. The scoreline is very forgiving because of that first half, but this is a pressure moment for them now. Their funds are going to be running a little lower. No big ults nearby apart from Starkso's. I mean, that could be critical, but again, they've got a lot of work to do in front of them here.
We've seen other teams use the Viper ulti really kind of like creatively. They'll get into an area, they'll pop it in like, you know, to cut off middle or a rotation point or something like that. We've seen Yampi sitting on his ulti for a few rounds, not using it really anywhere, anytime. Yeah, they've been planning with like 2 seconds left, so like when are you going to use it in a post plant? Like all the kills have already been decided by then. But to not kind of have like any creative way of using it as a fake or using it to create an opening or be able to secure all of middle so you could do this kind of like ping pong back and forth thing. We're not seeing any of that, but we're going to see a full A hit, but a decent read from KOI?
Potentially. Does Starkso get to live? No, no is the question. It was a very quick execution. Now Heaven's being flooded, good damage, but no kill. Again, Nat's getting maybe a little ahead of himself there. Maybe didn't need to take that fight individually. A deeper pit from Yampi, please.
He waited for it to come up before he peeked. Okay.
There we go. We're changing, we're learning, we're growing. Mystic waiting as well. There is a very clear choke point. Now they're going to force the hand to make them go through Heaven. And look at the space being taken behind them. I like this. Mystic and Yampi considering it. Spray comes in, but it's not going to connect. So now they've got to try and take that space back from Heaven. They're going to fly towards the side. Actually, Calo doing really well. Clears through. Ult comes in. May not be pretty, but it gets the job done. Shadow and Shados not in a position to do wonders. Yampi going walkabouts. Expecting the unexpected. Shados down on 10 HP. Miracles aren't happening, and Team Liquid is up to 11 now.
I think really good ulti usage here from Team Liquid in this round. You know, just as I'm talking about how they haven't been using it and haven't been doing a good job, they have to kind of just be like, you know what, let's just do it properly this one time to make him sound silly.
Hey, but it worked. It got them where they needed to be. This is what you were looking for, if anything.
And this is another example, though, where we see Nats. It's like, when I make that exclamation in the middle of the round, like, why? It's like, I'll tell you why. They go into the site, right?
Yep.
Kiko does a double satchel in. He kills the Fade on the site.
Oh my god.
Here it is. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, they have the site free. They're going to flood in and get the spike plant. So where is Team KOI located on the map? They're probably in heaven or probably rotating to heaven.
Yes.
So why do you need to go? You have the man advantage, you have the spike planted, and your teammates are all... They haven't stabilized. Bring that word back up from the, you know, a round ago. So let your team stabilize, get into like different positions ready for this post plant, and then when like the opponents are coming in for the retake, that's when you can jam them. But like they're still clearing out all they're clearing out like heaven, they're clearing out ramp still, and you're peeking into them. You're giving them what they want to be able to have an opportunity to stabilize in heaven and then say, okay, like we're going for this retake now.
Yeah. And the thing is they don't get punished to the same extent this round, right? Like, Liquid got away with it. There wasn't a huge issue, but you could see that if other teams are watching this and they're seeing opportunities, if Nats is still overheating, if there are gaps still to this, there are opportunities. There's a first glimpse that these players are going to get of the teams after kickoff break, during Madrid. So again, for Liquid, this is probably going to be a VOD check-in and a kind of question mark put towards this because, again, Nats on his lurks was iconic. But finding that right timing, finding that timing within the rest of the team is essential. Now, 11 rounds, that's almost rewarded early on their start, so got to be very cautious here.
Yeah, we see the Fade ultis online for him. He's down to 20 health. He almost died there. Like, why are you even trying to play 1 versus 5 on the site? You're going to lose it. And then you don't even have the Fade ulti for the retake. So, good decision here. He peels out. He's going to go and switch weapons and, you know, get a little Bogdan Law going in, kind of.
That's a throwback to about 4 people, remember? Thank you for that one.
No, I think everyone remembers. No one forgets that.
Do you think so? That iconic. Well,
it's like a help sewer moment there, kind of.
Let's see if Starkster can get value for this ult, though, right? Like, hindered at the start. Is anyone there to capitalize on this, though? I mean, a little bit of information, but closing that gap, what are you going to do with it? Where is the value of this? Like,
There's 3 people on the site, though.
Guys, they're on the site that they planted at. Enzo, there has been no ability to close down on this ult. Enzo is going to be under a lot of pressure, but it plays in Mystic. Does very well here. Bails out Enzo to get away and then re-aggress. Goes back for more and can't make the most of it. Shadow levies this down to a 2v3, favorable to KOI. The HP is low. It's on Nats now, and that's good. He needs more, though. Knows the Starzo's up there. He's got such a good read on it, trying to toy with him, but now time is a problem. 6 bullets to play with. Oh my word! And he's done it! He forced Shadow off the spike, and that just needs to play this properly. And oh my, wait! Did he go too early? No, he didn't. Nats plays it to the second. That got a little close for comfort in the Red Bull clutch, but he does it to get him to 12.
You know, Nats giveth and Nats taketh. Because we see these overheats on these other rounds, but then that's the second huge round that he's basically won in a, I think he had a 1 versus 2 before that.
I think so.
Yeah, so it's just like, if he's going to pull out these big rounds like this and these clutches, he's allowed, okay, you can
He's still fabbing. Let him have it. Let him have it.
You can do a 1 or 2 overheats because I know that you're going to get like, you know, you're going to make up for it twofold.
Oh, this got so dicey. Oh, but yeah, that is 12. And again, pause for thought here. Poor old Barbar. Bless him.
Did I hear what I think I heard?
It looked a little like it. But 12-9, again, if we're taking pause here, if we're taking stock, KOI only managing 1 round really on this half. This has not been a pretty half for them. Plagued with issues, and Liquid looking good on the attack. Coming back into this, the buy is there, but Grabino already taken a boatload of damage, and maybe just a spam through middle connecting, but they're trying to be proactive. And again, it's on Nats here. Told you, feast or famine. What can he do this time? Still gonna find 1. Still takes down 1. And he's gonna get, I don't know how much he saw there. Probably enough, but again, they've already got side control. That should be telling in itself.
And this is, again, coming back to the limitations of KOI's defense. Because of their composition, you know, they let Liquid walk into B-side for free, and now they're all the way deep in spawn, and they're jamming this. They're jamming the retake. There's no chance for KOI.
Yeah, offsetting that timing. Yampi pressuring back through was just gorgeous. Where are you off to?
It's last round. This
Where are you off to? There's nowhere to run. You got to face it. 13-9. Team Liquid. You know what? First half may have given you worry, but that second, Josh, was excellent.
And it's actually interesting to see that Liquid wasn't just doing their lurky thing where they're inserting lurks and doing like 2 or 3 people lurking. They were grouping up and doing these full 5-man hits in the last few rounds. Not even just the last few rounds, like the whole half where they were just going at the last second.
Yeah, this is going to be hopefully a very good series going forward. Plenty more to come. That's only map 1.
I know a place that will break you into 1,000 pieces. Stay away from them. Stay away from Lorca, Paco, and Picasso. Don't ask about Lola. Ay, Caballo Grande. Ay, Dolor de Nieve. But, in spite of everything, it occurs to you to visit Andalusia. Don't say I didn't warn you. Be careful of the Andalusian crush.
Hey guys, it's Jimmy Lin, former professional Counter-Strike player and VALORANT coach. Watch out for the stairs, clear this angle, you're going to be able to fight this.
Red Bull gives you wings.